Hi, everyone. My name is China Parento, and I'm a clinical research coordinator at the UCSF Center for ASD and NDDs. I will be walking you through this qualitative study examining what everyday life experiences make adults with autism happy and unhappy. This is of importance because it is known that depression is higher in individuals with autism, and especially in adults with autism. Rates of reported depression range from 1% up to 70% in studies on adults with ASD, with ranges around the mid 30 percentile being average. To put it into context, according to a study by Kessler and colleagues in 2012, 7% of the general population reported having depression, meaning rates for the ASD group are especially high. On the flip side, quality of life is also reported as lower in the ASD population. There are many factors that contribute to the high rates of depression and lower quality of life in individuals with autism, including challenges surrounding social interactions, relationships, and employment. Most studies on depression and quality of life were quantitative studies, so they were using standardized measures to capture degrees of depression rather than asking open-ended questions on what could be contributing to their depression. While it's important to measure direct relationships between specific constructs and mood, our study is unique in that we inquire about the wide breadth of experiences that can affect one's mood. So, how did we do this? As a part of the larger questionnaire packet, we asked two open-ended questions. Looking back at the past week, what are some of the things that made you happy? And what are some of the things that made you unhappy? We're not just giving them a list of set categories they can check off, but we're giving them a space to really just share their unique voices. We collected responses from 315 independent adults ages 18 to 35 years old. 52% were male and all had a childhood diagnosis of ASD. Our study team reviewed the responses and created overarching categorical codes to divide the responses into. We defined and refined each category and combed through the responses again to double check that they were in the right place. Here are the categories we identified in the happy and unhappy domains. These are only the high-level codes, and there were also subcodes that many were broken up into. For example, general social partner was comprised of family, friends, coworkers, romantic partners, roommates, etc. We can take a closer look into some of the quotes from each domain. The top three sources of happiness were general social partner, activities, and pets. Some quotes include going to the park with my daughter, sewing a dress, and having my emotional support animal climb on me. The top sources of unhappiness were general social partner and current events, which primarily included responses in regards to COVID-19 and politics. As a side note, this survey was distributed in March 2020, which may explain why COVID-19 was so often mentioned. Employment was also mentioned, where many of the participants expressed difficulties in finding jobs or being unhappy in their current position. For example, one participant stated they were having difficulties with communication/management issues at work. Quotes like this were double quoted, as it is both pertinent to the job/work category and communication difficulties. To conclude, there are certainly daily life experiences that contributed to changes in mood. So the question becomes, can we use this data to target improvements in mood? For example, general social partner was a top contributor of both happiness and unhappiness. So can we give individuals the tools and space to increase their positive social interactions and decrease the negative ones? As activities was the second contributor of happiness, these proposed social groups could be centered around the specific subcategories, such as a book club, since reading was mentioned as a source of pleasure. Along with targeting the specific categories we identified, adults seeking treatment can also self-monitor by cataloging what makes them happy or unhappy in the weeks up to and during treatment in order to give the therapist better targets for improving mood. This research has aimed to illuminate some of the general day-to-day life experiences that can affect individuals with ASD. As autism and personal preferences are heterogeneous, it is important to still pay attention to individual differences when providing treatment. Thank you for your interest in this research. If you have any remaining questions, please feel free to contact china.parento@ucsf.edu.